Head is slightly tipped forward. The eyes are down, looking along the length of the nose. Tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth, and relax the jaw. Just bring your awareness to the crown of the head and relax the scalp and the forehead and the eyes. Go to the back of the eye socket, relax that area there. Relax the nose and the cheeks, the area around the mouth. And then just bring your attention to the back of the skull, the occipital bone, the very base of the skull. Just relax that area there. And then just notice your jaw relaxing in the temples, the inner ear. You can imagine you have a nice warm light, a little torch. You're shining that into your ear, relaxes the eardrum and the ear canal. And then just release any tension in the back of the neck and the shoulders, and just allow your shoulder blades to drop down. And imagine it's very hard to feel this area in between the shoulder blades, that upper thoracic region. So just imagine it's relaxing as you're lengthening. And the head is slightly tipped forward. You want a little bit of length in the back of the neck. If your chin is up while you're meditating, it creates tension there at the base of the occipital bone. And this causes agitation in the mind, apparently. Relax the throat and the chest and the belly and the limbs, hands, fingers, and feet and toes. And bring the mind to the breath. Notice the sensation of the air as it's flowing in through the nostrils. Slightly warmer as you're exhaling, and it's flowing out. And if there are any sounds in your environment, just notice which sounds are distracting to you. What's drawing your attention? It's very interesting that our mind is able to filter out so much information so we can focus on what we need to. But we are also very easily, happily distracted. So just notice where your mind likes to go when it hears a sound. It goes towards that sound or it tries to push it away. So just notice and then allow the sounds to disappear out of focus as you refocus on the breath. Just let the sound fade into the background and allow them to be. Then notice your mind, your thoughts, emotions, and feelings just arising, abiding, and falling. And try not to engage with those either. Just notice what's drawing your attention and let it go. Try not to judge or criticize yourself. And bring the mind back to the breath. So now let's bring to mind all the people of our life, our loved ones, people we care about, our friends. These are the people who help us. And then there's this group of people that we tend to reject, push away. In the text that's labeled quite clearly as enemy. And then there's these ones that we just kind of ignore. They're people they're not really in our life. They're strangers. We're indifferent to them. It's good to remember that these different groups of people can change place at any time in your life. They're also deserving of our equal concern, regardless of how we feel about them. Because they, just like us, are the same in their wish to be happy, constantly trying to find it, never really succeeding, and then a wish to avoid suffering and always running into it, always having problems of some kind or other. And then they're the same as us in this unbelievable capacity for this enlightened mind. So I think we'll do this meditation this evening in Vajrasattva for all these people of our life, by extension, all the sentient beings, particularly for the people who are now caught up in this fire in northern New Mexico, people in Russia and Ukraine, Poland. I'm talking about countries that are sort of directly impacted by this war, and all the people suffering from COVID. So just remember, there is no negativity that cannot be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. We create negativity with our mind, so we're going to create positivity with our mind as a way of counteracting it by doing this practice. So first of all, we come to the power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you've done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of past lives. And think of specific actions of your body and your speech. And then general regret, all the other things you can't remember. And the reason we regret is based on this logic of karma. We experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions. So having harmed others, we will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And given that we understand all about suffering, and we've often, I think by the time we get to the age we all are, we've experienced our fair share. So we don't want to really invite any more in there. So logically, we would want to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as our future suffering. So think like this. I regret from the depths of my heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want this future suffering. I'm sick of suffering. So we can also regret our delusions, our anger, attachment, and the rest that are the cause of why we harm others. And again, think, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, what can I do about it? Whom can I turn to? So here we come to the power of reliance. So we rely upon, this is refuge, we turn to the Buddha, the Vajrasattva, who has the methods that we can use to purify. He's like a doctor. And we're not needing him to forgive us. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his methods. So imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head, and you can also imagine this is your teacher, your Lama, manifesting in this aspect for your benefit. And he is made of radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. And although born out of mud and tainted by mud, that's the lotus. Just like our enlightened potential, which is born out of our delusions, yet untainted by them. He has this beautiful, radiant face, very youthful, yet timeless. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you. He has no judgmental thoughts towards you. He's just meeting you wherever you're at, exactly whatever it is you're showing up with this evening. It's totally fine. He has this sweet red mouth, and his hair is black and held up in a top knot, and he's wearing a 5-pointed crown on his head embedded with jewels, and he's wearing jewelry on his ears, earrings, and necklace, and he's wearing a belt of jewelry around his waist, and his arms and his wrists and ankles. And he's wearing these celestial silken robes in the Royal Indian style. It just kind of scarves around his neck and harem pants. But it's all light. And then he has an aura of light around his head and around his body. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom. The right is holding a vajra, which represents indestructibility of compassion. Their being crossed represents a union of these two, which symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. To the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. By this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings, so the beings we have harmed and those who have harmed us. So try and bring those two groups of people to mind, developing a sense of compassion for them, a wish for them to not suffer. And particularly, even though it's a little bit more difficult for the people who have harmed you, because of the harm and suffering they've caused you, they're going to experience their fair share of it for sure in the future. So you have compassion for them because of that. So make a strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think I must do this for their sake. So next we come to the power of remedy, and this is the actual medicine, doing the practice, reciting the mantra and visualizing. So first we work on the body, negativities of the body. So Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful white nectar, almost like coming out of a hose or from a waterfall, strongly from a waterfall, and just pouring it forth from his heart, and it arcs around and enters your crown quite forcefully and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you till eventually it pushes out of the lower areas of your body all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky black liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Duda Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mepiyata Sawakama Sitame Siddham Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Duda Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mepiyata Sawakama Sitame Siddham Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Duda Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mepiyata Sawakama Sitame Siddham Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Duda Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mepiyata Sawakama Sitame Siddham Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Duda Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mepiyata Sawakama Sitame Siddham Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Duda Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mepiyata Sawakama Sitame Siddham Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Duda Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa Anarakta Mebawa Sawasidi Mepiyata Sawakama Sitame Siddham Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawatata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. So be delighted that all the harm, you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified. I think there is no way you could do anything but benefit others now with your body. So next is a purification of speech. And again, Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra, and it arcs around and forcefully enters your crown, filling your entire body, except this time filling up pushing up to the top parts of your body, all the negativity of your speech. And this quite forcefully pushes out and overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So imagine that all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying, talking badly about others behind their backs, all of this is purified by the powerful nectar filling you and overflowing as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Matsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Matsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Matsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Matsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Matsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Matsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tathagata Vajramame Matsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ahom Pe. So again, feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others with your speech. So every syllable that falls out of your mouth is of some benefit to someone. So imagine that your speech would be so pure that there would be nothing in there that would disturb the mind, or nothing in there that would be useless. Everything that comes out of your mouth would be of some benefit to someone. That's just incredible. So the next is a purification of the mind, and Vajrasattva now very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So it's just the same as when you walk into a room and you switch on a light, the light in that room. So the light instantly dispels the darkness in the room. So it's just the same here. The moment the light from Vajrasattva's heart touches your heart, all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, all the attachment and neediness and anger, depression, anxieties, jealousy, bitterness, grudges, all of this is instantly dispelled, not one atom left, as you recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Dida Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Supokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mempiyata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guruhum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita. Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa. Anarakta Mebawa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sita Me. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan. Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutsa Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita. Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa. Anarakta Mebawa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan. Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita. Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa. Anarakta Mebawa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan. Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita. Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa. Anarakta Mebawa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan. Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita. Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa. Anarakta Mebawa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan. Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita. Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa. Anarakta Mebawa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan. Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. So again, be so delighted that all your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering and the cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are totally purified, gone. And think now there is no space in your heart for anything other than love and wisdom and compassion and kindness, forgiveness. So the next is a purification of the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And imagine this time Vajrasattva sends light and nectar. So if you wish, if you'd like, you can recite a couple of mantras each, again, for the visualizations of the body and of the speech and of the mind. Or you can imagine light and nectar pouring into you and completely eradicating even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from the mind as you recite the mantra. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita. Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa. Anarakta Mebawa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan. Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita. Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa. Anarakta Mebawa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan. Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita. Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa. Anarakta Mebawa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan. Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita. Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa. Anarakta Mebawa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan. Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. Vajrasattva Samaya Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita. Dida Mebawa Sutokaya Mebawa Supokaya Mebawa. Anarakta Mebawa Sawasiti Mimpiyata Sawa Kama Sitame. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ho Bhagawan. Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Aham Pe. Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Duda mebowa sutokaya mebowa supokaya mebowa Anurakta mebowa sawasiti mempi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawatata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe Vajrasattva samaya manupalaya Vajrasattva dinapatita Duda mebowa sutokaya mebowa supokaya mebowa Anurakta mebowa sawasiti mempi yata sawa kama sita me sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan Sawatata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva aham pe. So now feel completely purified. Not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to omniscience have been removed. So next is the power of resolve. This is the fourth step in the purification process and a really crucial step. But before we do that, let's just rejoice in our efforts. Any changes that we're making inroads into refraining from some of these habits that we've had for years, if not lifetimes. So just rejoice in your effort and check to see, how far you're coming. A couple of steps forward, one step back. Maybe things aren't falling out of your mouth as easily as they were before or 6 months ago. Maybe you're more mindful. Maybe you're guarding your speech a little bit better. Maybe you're not swatting that fly as automatically as you were a few months ago. So then think of something to work on this evening between tonight and tomorrow or Monday. And give yourself a timeline. 30 seconds or 5 minutes that you refrain from something overnight while you're sleeping. And this determination to not do again, to refrain from doing something, is what gives us the strength to change. We just make a decision. Just decide. It's as simple as that. That starts the process. Okay, so Vajrasattva is delighted with us and wanting to merge with your mind. He melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown and think. My guru's body, speech, and mind, Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same thing. And LAMA YESHE used to call this union oneness. So next, Rinpoche recommends to meditate on the emptiness of the three circles. In emptiness, there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So at whatever level you understand emptiness, place your mind there for a moment. And you can think also of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. You think of things as being cause and effect. This depends on that, dependent arisings. And you can also think that the way things are appearing to me might not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So let's just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy we've created this evening during this purification to all living beings, thinking may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. And for His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world, to the incomparably kind Tenzin Gyatso, I beseech, may all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. The Lamas of Rinpoche, we can chant this one. O Tub Shu Chang Jin Jiang Gong Galloway, Tenzin Kyong Pel Wei Kun Do Dog Por Chog Sum Kur Wei Leg Mon Tu Dro Pa Dag Sog Du Je Gon Du Shab Ten Shu. And for Lama Ursel, Venerable One, to you whose kindness exceeds that of all the conquerors, for those wanderers in far-off places, especially the West, Mindful of your loving concern for us and intentionally descending again into a family of a far distant land, we make this request. O Lama, please, please live long. And for Geshe Sherem, beloved teacher, leading your students toward wisdom and compassion, explaining through exacting discernment the steps of the graduated path. You are the unequal guide. Please live a long and stable life. Okay, everyone. Sorry, a bit late tonight. I apologize for the sound. And